Welcome to the new playbook, Eugene. You've been inside the medical aesthetics industry for 8 years. And when I say inside, I mean you've done it all. A front desk, esthetician, nurse, operations manager, medical device sales, a director of operations for a franchise. You have covered all bases. Learning from the industry from every single angle. Definitely, there's a lot that we can learn from you. What I definitely love about your story, you really never set out to be a consultant. You took a summer off, went to Florida, and then all of a sudden the phone starts ringing, from practice owners saying, wait a minute, I need you back, or I need your help. So
Yeah,
happy to dive in some of that. Eugene, thank you again for joining. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your background story and add to that little introduction.
of course. Yeah, Alex, thank you so much for inviting me. It means that I'm really doing a great job if people started reaching out. And I just received a nomination for a beauty award as well. Yeah, as like a young professional in the beauty industry. It's from the international, global aesthetic, whatever. There's so many of them, to be honest.
Amazing, man. Congrats. Congrats. That's great.
It
Celebrate
is.
it. Yeah.
And to be honest, not just the community, the industry in general is huge and insane. So,
Right.
and when I just moved to New York from Moscow, right, I was already a nurse, right, but I didn't have my degree here yet, right, but I always wanted to be in aesthetics. My both parents are doctors. My mom is an oral surgeon, so she does like cosmetic surgery for like facial reconstruction and everything, jaw reconstructions after accidents and everything. So I always wanted to make people pretty.
I
Yeah.
love it.
And when I just moved to New York, right? So I didn't have, like the immigration stuff. I didn't have paperwork yet and everything. Didn't have my license yet and everything. So I started working as a front desk, learning the American way of doing aesthetic business, right? So I was a manager after it. Then I got my esthetician license, started doing the aesthetic treatments, right? All the microneedlings, lasers, and everything, right? So, and then I already got my license as a nurse and started performing injections. I was a general manager for a chain of med spas too, right? So I oversaw like over 50 employees a day in like 3 different locations, right? And this is what actually gave me let me just put do not disturb because it keeps buzzing. That's what actually gave me an opportunity to look at the business from inside. So I know all the problems that clients are facing, the estheticians are facing, the injectors, managers. From when you're looking at something, from the side, to notice more problems rather than when you're in it, right? And when I see how injectors is interacting with a manager, or a problem like all-time problem between a esthetician and a front desk, who gets a commission for the sale,
Right.
and like how to avoid this, how to plan pay structure so no one was offended and everything. So it's very interesting when you look at all these details, how much a business, let's say a business owner, is missing out, right? So in just setting some regularities that are super easy would bring them so much revenue in the
Yeah.
business, right? But
Yeah.
all these little dramas in the business and everything, like who gets what, this prevents them from getting this extra revenue, right?
Yeah.
Rather than they're working as a team. And basically I got super tired being a client facing person. So I was really fed up with that. And I went to Candela. So, and I was working as a field sales manager in Long Island. So, and I met all these plastic surgeons, doctors, business owners, and everyone who was, buying from me the devices. Really kind of broaden my
Your
community
network.
in New
Yeah,
York
exactly. Hmm.
work. Yeah. So, and then I broke my foot and I couldn't drive anymore. And I live in Brooklyn and I have to like drive not almost every day, basically, to Long Island. And it's my right foot, I'm like, I cannot drive. And so I had to quit. But of course I need money. And I went to back to the spa industry. And I was overseeing like multiple locations again when I started working as a franchise director. So BU now, it's actually a bigger franchise. They have more than 15 locations now, right? So, and I was helping them to perfect the business model in order for them to sell franchise, right? So, and after being there, I just got so tired of being client facing person. Like I took some time off, and it was over 9 months probably, actually.
We all
So,
need
but
those breaks. I've taken them myself, but yeah,
yeah,
that's
and
sometimes when
like
the magic happens. Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
true. It was first time in my life when I actually took some time off, right? So it
Yeah.
was never longer than like a week somewhere, like traveling, whatever.
Right.
And I just wanted to reset. I didn't know what I wanted to do, So like I was thinking maybe I'm gonna open a med spa. Like I was looking for medical directors. I already even like came up with a name and I like trademarked it as well, like face control. So
Nice.
it's kind of cool. Yeah. So, and I already trademarked everything. So I was like, okay, I'm going to open a spot. I don't know. Like, I went to Florida and I was thinking to open there because, like, New York market is oversaturated, but at
Yeah.
the same time, the quality most of the time is not really the greatest,
Oh, really?
So
Uh-huh.
that's why there's huge market for my consultancy right here. But in Florida, the competition is not that big, right? But the quality is great.
Got it.
So that's why I was thinking, Florida would be more interesting than New York because the competition. But then I gave up on that idea. I didn't want to share with anyone, and I didn't have like enough money to open up the spa. Like you need 500 grand,
Yeah.
to actually open up, like minimum 200,000 for renovation.
Right.
All these devices cost crazy money.
Yeah.
Like Candela laser is like 250 grand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and of course, everyone like finances it and stuff, but still, you need like a lot of money to open up a business. And I didn't want to share with anyone, So I'm like, it's either my baby or no one's.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I gave up on that idea for now because I needed 500. And I was chilling in Florida for a couple of months at the moment. And then people started reaching out like, hey, can you help me to find an esthetician or like train a nurse? And I was still seeing I did not work completely. I was still seeing my patients who've been coming to me for like 7 years already, like 6 years. And this was like my extra revenue.
Mm-hmm.
But people started reaching out themselves, and I'm like, why not to open a consulting company, right? Where I
Right.
can provide trainings, sales trainings, provider trainings, like management consulting. So I
Right.
come in, do full business analysis, see where we are missing out on the revenue and trying to fix the problem, right? Interview all employees, shadow how they work, right? And already give customized training for everyone. So I'm like monitoring the progress and seeing if they're actually following my rules or not. And it was very interesting. And to be honest, I didn't put a dollar in marketing. Yeah, so it all came from word of the
Organically.
mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I'm really happy about it. So it just means I did a good job, like with interacting with people, with meeting these people at the conferences and everything, networking. I feel like networking is my strength. Yeah.
It goes a long
So
way.
it
Yeah, it goes a
all
long
came
way.
together on its own. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, listen, it's fascinating to hear your story, how organically you kind of, got into your role, a lot of fortune also, because I think that, being able to not grow up in the not only grow up in the environment, right? You were so close to it with your parents, but also coming in and being able to just go through all the levels of it, right? There's nothing really that somebody can tell you that will surprise you, or that you don't have the vision to be able to solve the problem. So that's
Mhm.
probably the number one thing that it's gonna, bring your stock up. When you say when they mention you into consulting. So I hear that there's more med spas than McDonald's at this point. It's
Yeah, I
really
think
one of the
so.
fastest growing. I mean, here in Florida, it is. I'm in an area where you step out and in every strip mall, there's two or three Mets, some sort of Met spa,
Where
right?
in
So
Florida are you?
I'm in Ventura, North Miami.
I know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I'm in
So,
Florida very often. I'm like every month in there. Yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah. Most of
Yeah,
my
it's
close friends moved there.
yeah. Well, it seems like it's where everybody, at least it's in winter time, is where everybody wants to be. So this has been a very flourishing industry here in South Florida.
Mhm.
What when you walk into a salon, right? A med spa. This is a very open question, but what are the first things that you immediately can detect, right? That can tell you, okay, this is a well-run spa, or this is where most of the spas are failing. Is there like that quick indicator? Can you walk in, or do they are do they all experience different problems in a way?
So most of the time, the problem is the same.
Hmm.
When when do people come to me? Around 2 year mark of their business. first year, you are not making money, right? So you're trying to get out of debt, right?
Right.
So year two, you covered the debt, right? But you didn't make any money, right? So
Mm-hmm.
year three, it's when you start making money. So, and by the end of year two, people are like, okay, so I have a full schedule. I'm booked like 2 weeks, like 2, 3 weeks ahead, like fully booked, maybe like couple gaps, like in the schedule during the week, but I still don't see money, right? And I don't understand what's going on. Like we have a full schedule, but like we're not seeing any, progress. And this is where usually they need help and they're asking for help. And I come in and see how I do full business analysis, honestly. So
Mm-hmm.
from the first impression, I kind of see the problem already because most of the time is the same thing. Most of
Yeah.
the time is a client retention problem. They're trying to get new patients rather than keeping old
Keep
patients.
right.
So they are like, let's say you have a new patient, you have like 20% off for new clients, blah, blah, blah. They're using this promo and leave, right? So, and how do you keep the client, right? You need to have amazing customer service. You need to pay
Exactly.
attention to details.
Mm-hmm.
A client walked in, you have to, like, even if you're on the phone, like you're talking to some other client, whatever, client walked in, acknowledge it, make sure that you are aware of everything that's going on in your spa, right? Your
Right.
friend desk, you need to like you have so many opportunities to upsell. You're making money this way, right? So,
Right.
and it's in your interest to keep this, what is it? To keep the attention on yourself, right? From the
Right.
client. So you need
Right.
to make sure that the client is aware that he's being taken care of and everything, right? So second thing is customer service in the room, right? Upsells, like how you recommend consultation way, how do you give consultation? Do you use any tools in order to help your consultation, right? Like maybe face scanner or something. Like
Right.
face scanner, I think, yeah, it's nice, but if you're a good professional, you don't need a face scanner, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's it's great for people to kind of waste time while they're waiting, like for
Right.
the provider, if provider is running late or something.
Yes.
It's a great tool, right? So, but then, yeah, of course, you can sell more with that thing, saying like, yeah, you see, the machine said
Right.
machine said you have wrinkles, you have redness, you have like dehydration, you have like, I don't know, clogged pores and laxity problem, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Machine says that, right? So, but yeah, it might be a useful tool for someone who cannot recognize these problems themselves,
Right.
right?
Right.
So, and that's why it's a nice, like, it's a nice addition to the office, but no one should rely just on it. Like you
Right.
have a client in your chair, right? So you see all his problems at the moment. And you're the
Mm-hmm.
professional. You should never be scared of pointing out things that they didn't ask you about, right? So maybe they came for Botox, but you see that there is facial disbalance, like volume loss, or I don't know, dehydration or anything, right? So you're the professional, and a lot of skin people, they're afraid to point out things that they were not asked about, right?
Right.
So, but why? Because you are the guru of skin, like skin guru. They trust you, right? So if you don't say this, someone else will, and they will go there, and
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you don't say, it means you don't see it.
Yeah.
So when they
Exactly.
ask, like, what do you think? I say everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Obviously.
I'm not being pushy. I'm just giving consultation and I'm not
Exactly.
trying to like make them buy everything and do everything.
Right.
And I'm like, this is what I see. This is what you need to work on,
Right.
like reach your goal. Right. So yeah, there are things that you cannot really talk about out of the blue. Let's say, more intimate things. Like if a client like has like vaginal dryness, let's say, or I don't know, or like urinary incontinence or
Mm-hmm.
some like problem with nipples or something,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So the consultation form comes in, right?
Yeah.
So consultation form that they fill out like with their medical history and everything, it describes already all the concerns possible, what they can have and everything. So in things like nail fungus, they don't want to talk about it and you're not going to
Right.
point it out. But if they
Exactly.
see it in the menu, they're going to mark like, yes, it's my concern. And here
Mm-hmm.
you can really talk about it,
Right.
so, and things like that. Yeah, it's a little tricky because it's very personal and private,
Yeah.
right? But that's why consultation form exists. And I'm a supporter of a separate consultation room as well. So I sometimes I call it interrogation room, to be honest. Like like you have it's a beautiful room, like greens. There's like Harvard diplomas, blah, 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 everything. And you're like sitting in this chair, like looking at all these diplomas, and a doctor comes in, starts giving you consultation and everything. And like, I call it interrogation room because like you're already like impressed by everything and stuff. And like, you can trust this person. And when the person actually knows what they're talking about, that's it, you're sold. So,
Yeah.
and if you are a good professional, you will always have patience. And it's not even about where you work, it's just how you work, how you know your stuff, how you present yourself, and how people review you as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, you went through a couple of the questions that I have over in that topic in that sentence, which is great. But listen, what I get a lot, and this is something that I get a lot with consultants. I get to interview a lot of consultants in this space, and obviously spa owners, and that's kind of like the number one thing, right? It's really the the customer experience. It's the architecture
Mhm.
of the customer experience. People walk into the spa and immediately, whether it's that, you have the magazines laid out the right way, right? It's the air, the AC, the temperature. Do you have music or not? That all these little things are going to be inviting, right? Create the environment to invite somebody. And a lot of
Mhm.
med spas haven't really thought up of these things. They just take it for granted, right? At the beginning, they could be so busy that, like you said, they don't even oh, you came in for this, done, next.
Yeah.
Instead of really kind of taking the time and, like you said, being the consultant, giving them the extra mile, really, let's say, advising them, right? Because
Mhm.
that's really what's going to gain the trust, right? At the end of the day, it's easier to retain that person, that extra revenue. And people are so focused on more, more, more instead of retaining everything that they have. So, yeah, it seems like
Sure.
this is really the commonality right now
Mhm.
in the med spa. It's like we're opening so many med spas, yet a lot of the med spas are forgetting about really the internal workflow.
Mhm.
Do you understand that owners, when they get into this business, do they have any concept of that when they really craft it, or are they just looking at a numbers type of equation,
They
right?
do have a concept. Oh, I need Botox. Oh, I need to do my platysma. Yeah, they do have a concept in the beginning, but then they get so overwhelmed with looking for patients. They want to
Uh-huh.
bring new patients because they're just opened. They want to bring more and more and more, and they just like get so overwhelmed with that idea that they actually lose their goal. They lose their purpose, kind
Yeah.
of like what they
Yeah.
had in the beginning. But
Yep.
that's why it's very important to have a manager on the floor. So owners should not be managers, like,
Right.
because a lot of owners, they open up the spas and then they start taking care of everything.
Yeah.
And that's how you lose it. That's how
Yep.
you lose yourself, and like you
Mhm.
lose your idea where you were going
Yep.
because like now you're thinking about like toilet paper versus like what came out, like what new came out in the market.
Exactly.
And so that's why it's very important to delegate things in this business, right?
Yeah.
So because you cannot, like, there's so many things that you cannot focus on everything. Like,
Mhm.
everyone should be focused on their own thing.
Yeah. No, definitely so many variables, right? I think that maybe people see it from the customer side. You come in, you go to a room, you get your procedure, and that's it. But you have asked the operator so many things from scheduling and being able to organize your CRM, maybe even get those interactions out, your inventory, your medical equipment, the hiring of real professionals, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you see that aspect of labor inside the med spa world? Is this something that resources are? Is there a market, or is it difficult to find the right people, the right nurses, experienced personnel? How does that work now in the aesthetic world?
To be
What's
honest,
that
it's very hard.
challenge?
It is very
Yeah,
hard. It's
yeah,
very hard to find good employees, and I feel like the market is so saturated that it's very hard to find like a gem in the,
yeah,
like pile of stones, kind of. But, and like my standards are very high. So like maybe for someone it's easier, but my I'm Russian. It explains a lot, to be honest. Like, we're very big on beauty and customer service and service in general. I'm like, if I'm training someone and they're chewing gum in front of the client, I'm like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Like there are no phones at the front desk
Yeah.
whatsoever,
Exactly.
so no phones. It can be a company phone, like you're like taking pictures, like in schedule, blah, blah, blah. No phones at the front desk, no other languages at the front desk, so
Hmm.
you can't like, imagine you're going to a Chinese shop like to get your nails done and everyone speaks Chinese and like, I don't want to feel that,
I'm not
like
coming
if I
back.
feel
Exactly.
that, I'm not
Yeah.
going to pay this money, I'm like,
Right.
I'm not going to pay $1,000 for a treatment. Like if I feel this way,
Yeah.
so like all these details matter so much.
Yeah.
And, that's what like a lot of people just, what's the word? Kind of not oversee, but like oversee.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, yeah, it's my only day off in like few, like,
It's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have.
yeah, I speak
Where
multiple languages, so it's like hard.
No, no, I get it. No, you're doing great, man. You're doing great. Let me ask you, where do you see the most money being getting left behind in your typical practice?
Cross
Right.
promotions between providers, right?
Mhm.
So usually, right, you have like a laser tech, you have like facial tech, you have a nurse, right, and the front desks, and maybe like, I don't know, something else, right, like massage therapist, something,
Right.
right? So everyone most of the time is thinking about themselves, right? So, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna make a sale, I'm gonna recommend this what I do, and blah blah blah. But in order to get the results, right, you want to use all modalities, right, to get the client to the position where they want to be, right, and maybe even better. Right. So maybe they don't even expect that they can get this kind of result, but it can be achieved only when you combine different modalities. Right.
Right.
So when you're not greedy and you can share this patient with your fellow provider,
Yep.
so because, you're not doing lasers, like let's say I'm like, I can do laser, right? But like if I'm an injector at the med spa, I'm not doing lasers. I'm not scheduled for lasers and stuff, but I know like he needs like erbium, like the, let's say laser resurfacing, right?
Yeah.
Or microneedling, something. I'm not gonna do that, but I know they need it, right? So and
Right.
the only thing that's like not the only thing, but one big thing that's providers missing out on their own revenue even, so they're
Yeah.
greedy and they don't want to share clients in between like providers,
I
right?
see.
So this is a lot. And like no matter, it takes a while to teach them how to cross promote, to be
Right.
honest. Yeah, but it's also important that all the providers know everything, like all the services at the spa, right? So even though they're not performing them, but they need to be able to answer all
Unders
questions about it.
Understand. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's why, like, I always, when I come in, to a new spa, right, I research their like menu and stuff. I prepare presentation with every single service they have, all the benefits, all the like key talking points, all the key sales points,
Right.
and what contraindications might be, how many sessions you need, like what concerns you can treat, blah 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 blah. So many. Right? So, in like every single service has to be explained to every employee. Even a front desk should be aware of all this, right? So yes, they're not performing all the service, but they should be comfortable answering questions. Rely to a client. So if you lie, it's gonna come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like no matter what, it's gonna come out. Oops. I don't know what it is. Okay.
No.
Yes. And so it's gonna come out anyway, right? So you don't want to recommend something that's not gonna work. They're not gonna come back to you. Why would you do that? So and like
Yeah.
there are sweet spots. Like let's say like I worked with this like one of my clients for a consultant, like for a consultancy. He owned a med spa, and she just opened and she was trying to make money. Like she's desperate. Yes, like I invested all my life in there and like I have zero in my pocket and I'm like, I need to make money. And she kept selling crazy shit. Like she would just kept selling everything to people that they don't need. I'm like, I'm sorry, if you weigh like 300 pounds and you want to do body contouring, it's not gonna work. You
Right.
know, like, I'm sorry, it's for skinny people who just need a little like shave off, you
Mhm.
know? And like when a big person comes in and they're selling them like, I don't know, this like RF body contouring devices that like with heat, they dissolve fat, basically it kind of reaches to the certain temperature that
Right.
is enough to melt the fat, right? So like after multiple sessions, like let's say I'm skinny, but like I'm skinny fat, right? So I'm like
Uh-huh.
little flame. like little stomach, but I'm skinny overall. And
Right.
like it's for people like me that have like little fat, and
Right.
it's so superficial and so easy to treat. But I'm sorry, if you're like bigger person, right, you won't see any results from it. And
Right.
these treatments are very expensive.
Yeah.
It's like one session is like $1,000 and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say this like M sculpts and everything, all these machines, they're very expensive.
Right.
And, they're not setting realistic expectations, and then they come back and complain, and then they fight and they ask for refunds, and they're like, no
Yeah.
refunds, blah, 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 like reviews, and like they're tricking people into things. And
Yeah.
like, you should never, ever, ever do that to your clients, because
Right.
this way you will never succeed. You will
Right.
always be hanging there somewhere, on this like average revenue, but you will never succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, like any business, I think integrity it's key, and you have to sell the right thing, right? It's about the results, and
First,
if
yeah.
there's something that you're recommending that you even know it's not going to provide the right result, then you're selling the wrong thing. That's for sure.
Hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. Listen, aesthetics are shifting, right? GLP-1, longevity, wellness. What are the next 3 years actually going to look like for the average practice?
I don't know, like peptides are now getting like more and more popularity,
Right.
right? So, but they're not FDA approved still, like not FDA
Exactly.
cleared and everything. So, and I feel like when they are cleared and approved, it's gonna be next big thing in aesthetic industry, right?
I see.
It's already getting big, right? So, but a lot of people who are not doing really research, they don't know about peptides. Yeah, there are like some crazy skin people like me, right? Who like every single day, like looking up, oh, what's new, blah, 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 like so
Yeah.
interesting. Love it. Most people don't know. Most people who come to our med spas, they don't know anything about the treatments. You say skin resurfacing laser, what is it? Like,
Mhm.
not even the name of the laser. So like they don't know anything. They don't know the difference between Botox and filler. They don't know. Yeah, they don't care because they don't have to care.
Yeah.
So we're here to educate them, right?
Right.
So, and right now, right? So, I mean, I've been using GHQ peptide. It's great for your skin. It's great for your hair growth. There are so many studies right now when they add it into PRP, right, and inject together with PRP in your hair. Amazing results.
Mhm.
Twice as better than just pure PRP. Amazing. So, but it's not FDA approved yet, so we
Right.
cannot really do anything at the spas with this. So
Mhm.
it's very dangerous, right? If you get someone to like what is it, like to check on you, whatever, and like see your documentation and like what you're using, you're fucked. You
Yeah.
know. So
Yep.
that's like you're basically foreclosure.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's why it's very tricky. And this guy from Hell's Kitchen, like who opened up a spa, and like he was doing injections, but he opened it under like esthetician license. But he started buying all this like Korean fillers and like something, and like just shooting people with like stuff from Asia, and without any medical license whatsoever. He did it for like 8 years. And
Wow.
I didn't know that he didn't have a license or anything. I thought it was legit. He was like everywhere, like advertised and stuff. And then he had one issue, right? So it was honestly like it was not even a product issue or anything. Like the patient just freaked out, like went to emergency room. He like had like crazy swelling and everything. And then they were like, so when did you go? What did you get injected? He started researching, and then he understood that it's all under the table stuff, and he got sued, and now he's in prison.
Wow.
So for 8 years, he was shooting like, not FDA approved products and without any medical license,
Oh
you
my
know,
god.
and yeah, he got what he wanted.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
again, it took him 8 years not to get caught.
I know.
He
I
was
know.
advertised everywhere.
That's crazy. That's alarming. That is alarming. Pretty interesting. Well, we'll touch on I'll ask you a quick question before we touch on the AI, and that's a great one. How do you see regulation within the industry? Do you think it's tightening up, or guardrails being established in order to make sure that the right procedures and protocols are in place and being followed? Do you see any oversight from state to state that showing a bit more concern on that, or not really? Let's just say.
New York is more accessible. Like estheticians can perform lasers. There's a lot of opportunities for an esthetician to do more invasive treatments, like when they have a medical staff on site, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
there's a nurse on site, right, then esthetician can perform RF microneedling, let's say. But I think now actually they revoked this from them. So
Oh,
now only nurses can do RF microneedling and most lasers as well. And but like it used to be much free, like much more kind of
loose.
it's had
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
looser. Yeah, petitions
Mm-hmm.
had more. Now
Yeah.
it's getting tighter and tighter. Like let's say Texas or Florida. It's I think in Florida you can inject only if you are a nurse practitioner now,
Right.
or you can do it. You can be a registered nurse, but I think you have to have a doctor on site always. Right in New
Okay.
York, you don't have to have a doctor on site, so you have to have a
Wow.
medical director. It doesn't have to be on site all the time, right? So
Interesting.
the doctor might have his like plastic surgery clinic, right? But
Right.
not hanging at your med spa all the time,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but in Florida, it's more regulated, like, and in Jersey too.
Mm-hmm.
New York is looser, but it's getting tied up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. That explains a lot of the models that I'm seeing. I'm seeing, let's say plastic surgeons or aesthetic surgeons and things like that. And then they also have involvement in med spas. And I think it's because they need to have somebody at least within the organization that's approved. Right. So you're seeing that cross a lot. Talking about AI, on a personal level, are you using AI for any of the work that you're doing? What's your sentiment around AI? And is it helping you in any way or assisting you in any way to do your work?
Yeah, I love AI. Honestly, like I'm using it every day, right?
Hmm.
So, but I'm not using all capabilities, obviously. I have a bot that also does research for me on the med spas and stuff and sends them automated emails. It's like cold calling, but like cold
Hmm.
emailing, right?
Right.
So I love this thing. So it freed me so much time, to be honest, like for my consulting business.
Right.
But I'm still doing a little injections too, right? So I work as an injector 1 day a week because I love it, you know.
Hmm.
So, but I'm mostly training like in terms of injections, right? I'm training
Hmm.
new nurses where I'm planning to launch a soon with like with a friend of mine, and we're gonna do injectors training with CME credits, right? For those who want to apply to NP program after that, so they will already have like extra credits for
I
NP.
love it. That's
Yeah, so
great.
yeah, it's a little pricier than regular training, but it's more advanced. And I'm trying to see regulations on cadaver course because I had cadaver in Russia, so and here it's almost impossible to get cadaver, and I'm trying to see how to do that. Yeah, do you know what's cadaver? Yeah, it's
No, no, no.
like it's a dead body on your table and you're practicing on it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I see. I thought it was something like that, but no, I got it.
Yeah, it's like a cut off head on your table and like injecting it. And then you dissect it and open and see where you inject it. Like if you got in the right
Yes.
place, like right
Got it.
plane, if you blocked a vessel and everything. This is the epiphany of training, you know?
And
So it's
understood.
like I suggest every injector should go through this once,
Interesting. That's amazing.
you
Well,
know?
you touched on the injector. Let me ask you a question regarding that. And you're going through this training and training a lot of injectors now. And I'll tell you from everything I hear, that's probably the number one position that everybody's like desperate for, the right injectors, right? But what do you want them to know that nobody is telling them? What is that one thing that maybe you say, that's what brings so much value to what you're doing, right? Because you can really train them in that aspect that nobody is really telling them.
Knowledge, you know, you have
Hmm.
to be knowledgeable. It's like to be talented and have a light hand is not enough. You
Right.
know, you have to be knowledgeable. You have to know anatomy. Like all the time when I'm training someone new, right? I go through facial anatomy, like first
Hmm.
thing, you know. So, and if you're right out of school, you're gonna remember still, you know, some anatomy. But if let's say you worked at like in the hospital for like 15 years and decided to start learning injections, they already don't remember anything,
Yeah.
you know? So, I mean, unless they were like nurses, let's say with a plastic surgeon who does like facial reconstructions and stuff. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. You know, but if you're like worked as a nurse in a hospital like all your life, you don't remember this already,
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly.
And
In the
yeah,
time. Yeah, what I was going to say in the topic of AI and also knowledge, because I think that what I'm hearing also is that a lot of clients are already coming in well informed because of AI, right? A lot of these things they're already chatting with their large language models. So they're coming in with a lot more information. Is this something you're seeing in that end?
Yeah,
Like
of course.
now the staff really needs to raise the bar because the
Yeah,
clients themselves are not going to get full, they already know exactly what they're getting or what they want, right?
not always.
Not always.
Most of the time, they know too much, that
Okay,
it's like extra information that they
got
don't
it.
need to know,
Yes.
and that's like, it's not applicable to their case, right? So
Yeah.
it's like when you have like some symptoms and you start researching and you already have cancer, you have like
Yeah.
whatever, and like
Exactly.
something else, it's the same thing.
It's the
You know,
same thing.
when someone comes in to me and they're like, okay, I need 0.25 filler here, 0.35 filler here, I need like 27 units of Botox here. And I'm
Right.
like, girl, you like, and then I explain her what's gonna happen if I do what she wants.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And this is my favorite way to do it, to be honest. I'm like listening, they're like, okay, so I already did my research, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I need this, this, and that. I'm like, okay, so let me tell you what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
if we do what you want.
Are you finding with the clients that you're consulting, are people finding those specific clinics through AI? Have you found a little bit of that? I know that, recently Google changed the whole search criteria. This was last week. That did are you familiar if any of these of clients are actually getting discovered by AI?
Yeah, 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 of course. Yeah, so it's a big thing now, and a
Right,
lot of marketing people, marketing agencies, they're also focus on this now. Like,
right.
get like increase your search through AI, like all these
AI visibility. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And honestly, like I hired someone for SEO and for my website, and when I see the stats, right, statistics, I get so much views through AI, like through
Yeah,
AI engines. It's so cool. Like not like through Google. And again, like I didn't put any money in advertisement.
right.
It's just organically gets found by people through AI. It's very interesting. It
No,
works.
yeah, the framework is completely changing. I think that, SEO was great, but now with AI, that layer of AI search, the potential in organic traffic, it's unbelievable. I would say before you even spend a dime or a cent
Mhm.
in advertising, you should get that your online presence
Web
up to
presence.
date
Yeah,
so you can get recognized.
exactly.
100%. Inside the practice, are you seeing any AI tools that are helping the practice itself, the
Yeah,
operation?
there are like all the booking platforms have already inbuilt like AI engines,
Mhm.
right? Let's say when you have an empty schedule, I don't know, like it freed up maybe a bunch of cancellations, something, it notices like you have gaps. It would start sending, let's say, emails or texts to potential clients who are like either waiting for the appointment
On
or
the
haven't
wait
been
list or something. Yeah,
offering them a discount and
right,
everything. It's like last minute, blah blah blah. You don't do this anymore. It's all done for you. And like all these automated responses are very easy to, like when they're trying to book through text. It's very nice to have AI bot that you just teach, right? So all possible conversation routes, right? And then you don't even need to do anything with them,
right,
right? In terms of booking, in terms of client retention, in terms of market research, and not a consultation though, like in terms of finding new clients, retaining clients, kind of filling up the schedule,
right,
AI is amazing.
right,
But when people try to do like skin analysis with AI, it's fucked up, you
right.
know?
Yeah, you need human
Yeah,
oversight for sure.
because they
Yeah, yeah,
come with this like report and like,
yeah.
okay, I need this. I'm like,
Right. A little bit off. We're definitely not
yeah,
there. Yeah.
Not a little bit, a lot.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
would you say that's where AI could move the needle most? Or would you think, in your experience, Eugene, is there any place, or, if you have that magic wand to fix a problem, is there any aspect of the industry where you say, okay, this is where AI can leverage more?
I didn't even know. I was thinking about it today, actually. Like when I was going through our email,
Hmm.
I was thinking about this question and I didn't know like where would AI excel? It's just booking, like free up time with like confirmations, whatever, everything. So let's say because I prefer call confirmations or
Yeah.
text, right?
Hmm.
So I don't like the emails. No one's gonna
Right.
read the email, right?
Correct.
And a lot of people won't even open the text as well.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of people like calling because okay, our age group that we're serving is like 35 plus. They like calling, right? So, and it takes forever when you have like 50 people on the schedule, you need to confirm with everyone, So like call them to confirm, blah, blah, blah. Like it takes so much time.
Yeah.
All these like conversations with patients that, can be very friendly and nice and everything. I know it's not going to be personal, like it is personalized, but I know it's not a real person, but they're going to think it's a real person. And I know I'm sorry for this, but it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a personalized approach is the most important thing,
Yeah.
most important thing
Exactly.
because every patient is very important for you, right? So, and
Yeah.
you take them not as a conveyor, right? So they're like individuals
Yeah.
and you treat them as individuals, right? So yes, I know like we would teach our AI bot to answer like a person and everything, and they're gonna be so happy like messaging with this like AI bot.
Right.
I know it's lying, but it frees up so much time.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It does. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Uh,
over in terms of like facial analysis and everything, I think it's possible to teach AI. It is
right.
possible. Like if you put like 1,000 variations of the same thing, of course it's gonna figure it out.
Right.
So muscle movement, like my muscles barely move, but yeah, yeah, it's all Botoxed. But like, let's say, like all the different types of muscle movements. Let's say when you like frown, like some people frown like this way, some people frown like this. Some people frown like when you have like one line and it all like pushes it together. Like you see, I have like completely different like frown pattern. So
Uh-huh.
like so many, and if you teach it like different patterns, technically it can learn.
It will learn. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so and I'm sure one day the consultation, like AI consultation, is gonna be like better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but AI cannot inject.
Right. Right.
AI can give you a facial.
Yeah.
So that's like or a laser and
Yeah.
stuff. Like I mean, laser might be. Yeah,
Yeah.
right now there's already AI robot for like eyelash thing, like
Right.
eyelash extensions. Yeah, and it does it like in 20 minutes. Like when a person does it like an hour and a half. You
Wow.
know, and like yeah, right now there is a robot. Like I believe lasers can be AI driven.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
if
Right.
it's a
Right.
machine, you lay there, it's scanning you and does laser for you. It's
Wow.
crazy. Then
Yeah.
yeah, like but I feel like in pretty foreseeable future, we're gonna have it already.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of, skin treatments, injections, I don't think AI is gonna replace this.
No, I don't think so either. I agree. Even in the consultation part, I think that it's not that it's going to give you a diagnosis, but
Mhm.
for overall improvement, if you have an AI listening and sitting in the consultation room, it'll pick up the opportunities, right? It'll kind of rate that consultation and say, "Oh, you missed out on this, and this upsell, or you didn't mention this, or did you even communicate who you were, or all these little things that can help that process of consultation, because it's a very
Mhm.
intimate moment with the client, right? So you want to hit all the markers. So I
Mhm.
think AI might be able to give you an analysis of the consultation so you can then keep the bar. But you're right. At the end of the day, you can scan people and all that, but not yet. Human eye and experience is probably going to pick up, a better diagnosis than
Not
AI
even
right
just
now.
a diagnosis, like, it's right now this new facial scanner, what's it called? I forgot. Like, it's super cool and super futuristic. It has a very intense engine in there, right? So it does a great job, but it's too early for people to trust it too much.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe in like 10 years, yeah, no one's gonna give a shit about like personalized consultation anymore.
Right.
maybe 5 years, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Maybe you'll do it. Maybe you'll do it on the camera of your
Exactly.
laptop, and already can give you a bunch of at least
Yeah.
a preview of what the service is that you're gonna need
With
or
the
something like
speed,
that.
how it's all developing,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna happen soon, like
Well,
maybe
that's
within
the
5 years.
next talk, right? I think that the next talk is the ultrasensorial AI experience, right? Where you have a camera and the camera is seeing everything and it's learning from what you're doing, right? So,
Yeah.
it could also
Like what's
scan, it could
your
also
phone,
so
this, like, facial recognition thing, it's already doing
exactly.
it, basically.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Correct. I agreed. Well, listen, Eugene, this has been really, really amazing. I really thank you so much for a pleasant conversation. I can't wait to be able to do this again in the future. Before we
Thank you.
go, I have a quick rapid fire section. Just simple questions, whatever first comes to mind, short little answers. So don't overthink it. Let's see how it
Mhm.
goes. All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee,
Uh, Manhattan or Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
One word to describe New York Met Spa culture.
MS.
I like that. Okay. Best city in the world for aesthetics outside of the U.S.
I
No,
would
that's a tough one. Best city in U.S. Let's just say.
No, in the world, I would say, I would say South Korea is great, like not the
Oh,
city, country, right? So South Korea is probably one of the best for aesthetics and the
okay.
most developed. Yeah. But
Interesting.
The US is the greatest market of devices, right?
Right.
So all the devices come out here first and like they're more advanced and everything, but all the like injectable products, they're usually more like upscaled there
Oh wow.
because here, I'm sorry, FDA, but you're fucked up. So like because the corruption with FDA is so strong that they just don't allow smaller brands to come through. It takes forever to like get through FDA, so
Interesting.
because it's super corrupted.
Got it. Got it. So technology here, but injectables,
Yeah,
South Korea. Yeah. Okay. The single most overrated treatment right now.
RF microneedling,
Okay.
RF
Single most underrated.
underrated, laser genesis,
Okay.
probably. Yeah,
Okay. Botox or filler?
both.
Both. Okay. Best injector in New York that nobody knows about.
Me?
Huh? Yeah. Fair enough.
No.
Fair enough.
Yeah, okay.
But everybody knows you, so
Like Diana
most
Ross.
know you.
The Diana Ruskin. Like I love Diana Ruskin so much.
Oh,
She's so
okay.
good. She opened up her office like 2 years ago and we used to work together at one practice. Don't want to call the name.
No, that's fine.
I don't like it anymore. Yeah. So we worked there together and when she opened, I was supporting her a lot. Like we were close. Like we kind of lost connection, like that close connection over the last like year or so. But she's busy with her spa and everything, I understand. And like
Right.
she just gave birth and like she's so happy. I love her. And she's a flawless injector, the best lips in New York.
Amazing. One piece of equipment every med spa should own.
Pico laser,
Okay. One piece of equipment every med spa thinks they need, but actually does not.
a radio frequency body contouring.
Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't do much.
If you could if you could fix one thing about this industry right now, what would it be?
One thing about the industry, so people didn't get stuck in the same thing all the time and like advance their skills. A lot of people think that they're enough, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll close with the last question. One piece of advice for somebody opening a med spa next month.
Check all the regulations, hire me to to get all the paperwork ready. So like you need to make sure that all the paperwork is on point right now. All these procedures to the department's looking for all the violations possible.
Right.
Right now it's very strict. Just be cautious. Make sure that you're doing everything like legally and stuff, and like don't try to do stuff under the table right now. Yeah, it's very dangerous in New York and a lot of people are getting caught. It's good, honestly, because I want to make sure that all the patients are safe, and like getting safe treatments and safe product and everything. But at the same time, right, like I'm an immigrant too, right? So like a lot of immigrants here who, let's say, like they came from other countries, they don't have a license yet, but they were like practical doctors for like 20 years and everything, and they cannot like do anything here. right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, some of them, they like rent little, like rooms and stuff and like doing injections there, but they cannot access like like any medications from here. So they have to get it from Europe or Korea and stuff. So Russia, the same, right? So I want to make it easier for them to be legalized.
Okay.
This would be so good because there's so many practitioners here that are crazy talented and they cannot do it legally because the regulations is so fucked up.
Right, right. Well, we'll probably find some resolution to that, I'm sure, in the near future. I think that talent
Mhm.
is always needed here. So, Eugene, thank you again. For those trying to locate you, they need help with their med spa operation. Where can they reach out? How
Mhm.
can they find you?
You can check my website, eugenekconsulting.com, or shoot me a text. You can find it on my website.
Awesome,
No,
awesome.
I'm always easier over text.
You got it, Eugene. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll get to do this again in the future. Let's stay in touch. Thank you so much for joining.
Have a good one. Okay. Bye bye.
You got it.